Welcome back and now the JOTO Show. We had to redo this again. I forgot to record the last time, and I had to. Last time we recorded before this was all blank. I'm the co-host Jay Lakers, and we have Tony Polney. We have started over. This time I am recording.
All right, that's good to hear. Yeah. Hey everybody, this is episode 7 of the JOTO Show. Officially 3 episodes away from the double-digit mark of episode 10.
We won't be doing all about football. There's something doing so soon. You'll find out.
Yep. Have some other sports coming up. But we ask this question every week here. What's going on, sports world? As we just mentioned, more specifically my co-host Jay Lakers here, the NBA is starting soon. Next Tuesday, in fact, is the season opener. Obviously, preseason's been going on for a few weeks, but the official regular season starts next Tuesday. So mark your calendars because at 7:30 p.m. Eastern will be the Boston Celtics hosting the New York Knicks. This will be the Celtics ring ceremony game because they obviously won last year. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll have the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Los Angeles Lakers in LA. So yeah, 10 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars for that one.
You guys ask them why my name has Lakers in it. Shea Lakers. I used to like the Lakers. That's how I got it. That's why I call myself Shea Lakers. NFL trades.
Yeah, we had some NFL trades happen these past couple of days. That doesn't necessarily mean the trade deadline is coming up per se. It's actually 2 weeks away, November 5th. So expect more trades by then. We'll definitely report them as they happen. But starting off, we had Roy Robertson Harris get traded from the Jaguars to the Seahawks. The Jaguars received a 2026 sixth-round pick for him. Then we had Devontae Adams being traded to the New York Jets. The Raiders received a third-round pick, which could be a potential second-round pick if Devontae meets certain conditions the remainder of the season.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Then we had Amari Cooper being traded to Buffalo. The Bills are going to gain Amari Cooper and a 2025 sixth-round pick from the Browns, who will be receiving a 2025 third-round pick and a 2026 seventh-round pick. And then to finish off our news from this week in trades, we had Cam Akers from the Texans being traded to the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings will also receive a 2026 conditional seventh-round pick, and the Texans will receive a 2026 conditional sixth-round pick. Are we actually recording right now?
Yes, we are.
Good. God bless.
And I see the primetime game on the OBS.
Okay.
Plus one in.
Yep. Starting off, we had a Thursday Night Football where the San Francisco 49ers went into Seattle and defeated the Seahawks 36-24. This was a pretty good game for the Niners. Brock Purdy had 3 touchdowns this game, 255 yards, 18 for 28. So he only missed 10 throws.
Wow.
Geno Smith, on the other hand, went 30 for 52, so missing 22 throws. 312 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions, which both of those interceptions were to rookie defensive backs on the Niners.
I was watching some of this at Cedar Point on my phone. I know it's on Prime. Twitch showed Prime games on Thursday night, so I was watching from there. Here's the 1-1. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, next we had the London game here where the Jags went against the Bears and lost 16-35. This game was an amazing game for Caleb Williams. He had 226 yards, kind of normal numbers you see, 23 of 29, but he had 4 touchdowns this game. That's a lot from the rookie. He also did have 1 interception though. So, yeah. As for Trevor Lawrence, he had 234 yards, 23 of 35 passing, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Then we had Sunday Night Football, which I'll let my buddy Jay Lakers take over on this one.
Well, yeah, Sunday night game. I was watching some of this. I was at Kings Island Sunday night on Halloween Hunt. Bengals won 17-7. Joe Brewer, the quarterback for the Bengals, drew no touchdowns. I think he ran for a touchdown, and they won 17-7. They're 2-4.
Joe Burrow had a pretty good game, 208 yards, 19 for 28. Kind of all right. Did a game manager job. No interceptions, no touchdowns thrown, but he did rush for 1 touchdown. As for Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, Danny Pennies, whatever you want to call him, he had 205 yards, 22 for 41, no touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Whatever his name is.
Whatever you want to call him.
And moving on to the last prime time game. I don't know why I say prime. That's a drink called prime. I don't know why I say prime. I meant to prime time. That's a close game.
Yeah, we had the Buffalo Bills heading over to New Jersey and taking on the New York Jets, winning 23-20. This was a pretty good game from Josh Allen. I know I say that a lot with a lot of these quarterbacks.
How
But
many,
I really mean it with Josh.
how many times Josh Allen faces Aaron Rodgers? A
I
lot.
had the note before a few times, but not much because Rodgers used to be a Packer.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. They ever play the Packers?
A couple of times, I think. You'll
Okay.
have to watch last video where I mentioned it.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh yeah.
Yeah. After the self plug right there, he had 215 yards, 19 for 25 on the passing with 2 touchdowns, no picks.
You know what, Tony? Just keep that part in.
As for Aaron Rodgers, he had 294 yards, 23 of 35 passing, 2 touchdowns as well, but also had an interception.
Moving on. Finally, everything's recording fine. Afternoon games. Here we go.
Yep. So we have 10 afternoon games for you. We'll start with the Buccaneers game where they went to New Orleans and nearly doubled their own score, 51-27. This was a blowout for sure, but was it the blowout of the week?
We don't know.
I don't know. We'd still have more scores to look at.
Yeah.
But Baker Mayfield 325 yards, 24 of 36 passing, 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. It's a lot. As for the rookie in his first start, Spencer Rattler, he had 243 yards, 22 of 40, on the passing, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Next, we had the Washington Commanders going over to the Baltimore Ravens, dropping this game 23-30. Ravens win. It's a pretty good game for the Ravens. We had Derrick Henry still doing Derrick Henry things, 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. All of that was just rushing. And we had Zay Flowers also have 132 yards, and he did it only with 9 catches. For the rookie QB Jaden Daniels with the Commanders, he had 269 yards, 24 of 35 passing, and 2 touchdowns. So pretty good game for him, but it wasn't enough to beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, who Lamar had 323 yards, 20 for 26 on that passing, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Moving on, we had the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Green Bay Packers, losing this game 13-34. This is our 3rd quarterback so far from just the prime time and what we've seen from Sunday afternoon. This is the 3rd quarterback to throw 4 touchdowns. Jordan Love had 258 yards, 22 of 32 passing, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Wow.
In those 22 completions, he had 9 different Packer players catch the ball. In the 32 incompletions, one of those was an extra player. So in total, Jordan Love targeted 10 different players to catch the ball. That's how you get the ball around to the team. As for Kyler Murray, though, he had 214 yards, also had 22 and 32 passing, same exact percentage, but only 1 touchdown. Moving on, we had the Indianapolis Colts heading over to Tennessee, defeating the Titans 20-17. Joe Flacco did a pretty good job just doing Joe Flacco things. 189 yards, 22 for 38, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Still got the win against Will Levis with his good old stat line he always seems to have. 16 for 27, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, total passing yards at 95. Editor Tony, put the Will Levis meme of the week. Thank you. And to finish off this page here, we had the Houston
I know
Texans.
a high score, not same high score.
Yeah,
So
pretty high score on this one.
a blowout game.
Yeah, it's not as big as the Bucks, but it was still a pretty good blowout from the Texans, who went to New England, defeating the Patriots by 20. Drake May had his first official NFL start this game, and he did a pretty good job. 243 yards, 20 for 33 passing, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. You know, normal rookie numbers you'd see with those 2 picks, but 3 touchdowns is pretty good. As for CJ Stroud, he had 192 yards, 20 for 31 passing, 3 touchdowns as well, but 1 interception. All right, we have 5 more games here. Moving to Philly, where the Eagles defended home court against the Browns, winning 20-16. This game should not have been close, in all honesty, with Deshaun Watson only having 168 yards, 16 for 23 on the passing, and only sorry, not even only. He had 0 touchdowns this game.
Yeah, he's not doing so good for the
He's
Browns.
not doing so well. So with funny, I saw something funny with Amari Cooper getting traded to the Bills. The only current Browns player to have 2+ touchdowns is a defensive player.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not real good for the Browns right now. Looking
No,
like the Browns of the old when they went 0-16.
they're 1-5. They're in dead last in AFC North.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad my Bengals are not like that. My
Yeah,
team's not like that. Ugh.
yeah. As for Jalen Hurts, he didn't have a much better game. 264 yards, so yeah, better on the passing by nearly 100 yards. But he only completed 16 passes like Deshaun and only had 2 more attempts. Um, at least 2 of those passes that were completed went for a touchdown, unlike Deshaun. But either way, this game was just a sloppy game that I'm glad I had Red Zone on because they just didn't show this game. And I was watching
I don't have
Texans.
red zone, so and I
Yeah.
do want NFL Sunday tickets expensive on YouTube TV.
Yeah. I looked into it, I was like, I might as well just have Red Zone.
Yeah.
Um, moving on, we had the Los Angeles Chargers heading over to Denver and defeating the Broncos 23-16. A good win for the Chargers. Justin Herbert had 237 yards, 21 for 34 on the passing, 1 touchdown. So pretty good game for him. Bo Nix had 216 yards, 19 for 33 on the passing, 2 touchdowns. So actually, statistically looks better, but did have that 1 interception. So yeah. All right. Next, we had the Pittsburgh Steelers heading over to Vegas, winning 32-13 over the Raiders. This honestly, when I was watching it live, this felt like a home game for the Steelers because everyone there had terrible towels. So to be in Vegas, the home of the Raiders in Allegiant Stadium, and more than like 70% of the fans there are Steelers fans with terrible towels. Not a good look for the Raiders. What makes this worse for the Raiders too? Justin Fields didn't even have a good game. He only had 145 yards, 14 of 24, and no touchdowns. This was mainly a game about running the damn ball for the Steelers. And that's how they did it, and that's how they won. Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders, this was his first start this year after Gardner was benched. He had 227 yards, 27 for 40 on the passing, 1 touchdown thrown, and 1 interception thrown.
Wow.
Yeah.
Therefore, they only lost 2 games. Same thing with the
Mm-hmm.
Ravens.
There. Yep. We'll look more into that after a couple of these more games. So let's finish that off. Moving on with the Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers, won by 18. So I'd call this a blowout in a sense.
Mhm.
But statistically, the Panthers had a better QB. If we just look at stats, Kirk Cousins versus Andy Dalton, only a 4-yard difference passing. Kirk Cousins 225, Andy 221. Kirk threw it 30 times, completing 19 of them. Andy threw it 38 times, completing 26 of them. So you can kind of take what you will with that. But here's the juicy meat here. Kirk only had 1 touchdown, but no interceptions. Andy Dalton threw 2 touchdowns, but also threw 2 interceptions. But
Mhm.
yeah, the Falcons win 38-20. And then for our actual winner of blowout of the week, we had the Detroit Lions at the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm. Not.
And the Lions
Eh.
defeated the Cowboys
Not necessarily.
47-9.
Was it
which
wasn't it like 51-9 or
it was 51 to
6?
27, the other one. If we're looking at total score, Buccaneers. If we're looking at the difference, it belongs to the Lions because they won by 38 points. This got so bad for the Cowboys. This was actually scoreagami, which if you don't know what that is basically the first time that this score has ever happened in the history of the NFL. They've been tracking it for years. We've had like a few every so often in the past few seasons. But this one is a scoreagami. You don't want to be a part of the 9 on this one. Jared Goff had 315 passing yards, 18 for 25, and 3 touchdowns, while Dak Prescott only had 178 yards, 17-33, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
Wow. Moving on. We have
Week 6 standings.
Sanders.
These are the standings after week 6 here. So let's take a look. We'll start up top with the NFC. In the East, it's the Commanders still. They're 4-2. The closest team to them is the Eagles, who are 3-2. But we'll see how that goes. In the West, the Niners lead 3-3. The Seahawks are tied with them, but because the Niners
Really,
beat the
and
Seahawks,
really nothing else in your league is higher than that. That's kind of
nope.
crazy.
Cardinals are 2-4. Rams are 1-4.
Your league is different than everybody else's league. Everybody else is
Not
like, everybody else is
yeah. Everyone else is
like yeah, 4-2, 5-0, 5-1. Yeah, but
everyone has at least one more win than loss, besides the West, where it's 50-50.
yeah,
But yeah, Seahawks are tied with them, but because the Niners beat them on Thursday night, they have that advantage in the tiebreak.
nice.
In the North, the Vikings had their bye, so they stay at 5-0, with the Lions right behind them at 4-1. We don't have it mentioned later on, but the Vikings and the Lions do play this coming week.
Ooh,
So we will have a potential new king of the North in the NFCs, or the Vikings will be 6-0.
we'll find out.
We'll find out. We'll look at those picks later too. You already know. It's the tradition there.
Yep.
And to wrap up the NFCs, the Falcons lead the South 4-2. Buccaneers are tied with them at 4-2 as well. But the Falcons did beat them and the Saints, and most recently the Panthers. So they are 3-0 in their division. Good for you guys, Falcons. In the AFC now, start with the East here. We have the Bills, who are 4-2. The closest team to them, based off record, is the 2-3 Dolphins. So Bills, you will see yourself up here next week for sure. Same goes for you, Kansas City. You guys are 5-0. While the
And
Chargers are the second best at 3-2. So even with a loss and a Chargers win, they'll still be up a game. And then in the North, it's not so good for the Ravens when it comes to having a good lead against second place, because they are tied with the Steelers at 4-2.
yep, and the Bengals are
The
two and
slight,
four, and the
yep, Bengals are 2
Browns
and 4.
and the Browns are 1-5.
Yep. Ravens do have that advantage though for the fact that they did beat the Bengals, so
Yep,
they have the tiebreak on the division
yep, we're one
record.
0-1.
Yep. And to wrap this all up, the Texans lead the South by 2 more games than second place. They're 5-1, and second place is the Colts at 3-3.
Like your team, 3-3.
Yeah.
Wow. Moving on, our NCAAF football week 7 recap. It was an
Yeah.
NF. It was an Okay.
We said NFL. Yeah. No. This is our top.
Yeah.
Is
Both
our ranked
ranked,
games.
and they're both SEC teams.
Yep. We like
They,
to quickly skim through these,
yeah, very quickly. 34
so
to
we'll just mention.
3. Number 1 beat number 18. Texas beat Oklahoma.
Yeah. We like to get through these fast. So let's move on to the next one. We had another ranked versus ranked teams here. We had the Ohio State Buckeyes at the Oregon Ducks, but losing by 1 point,
I heard
31-32.
I heard about this one. Oregon Gus had 12 people on the field. They never called that.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. That's one thing we got to mention. They're looking into it.
I know. I forgot about
Um,
that. They're saying they're cheaters in that game.
they basically they manipulated the rules a bit because technically it's only a 5-yard penalty. So if they actually did it, they can stop the play, waste 5 seconds, and only move the Buckeyes 5 yards.
Yeah.
So the NCAA is actually looking into that to potentially
We'll see
fix
what
that rule.
happens. We'll see what
But we'll see
happens.
what happens.
Because they never said anything to them. That's what I heard. I didn't see the game. I just saw it.
Same here. Yeah. All right, lightning round. Like I mentioned, let's do this. Penn State at ranked 4 won only by 3, 33-30 against the Trojans of USC.
I was watching some of this game.
Mm-hmm. Then we had
Our high score.
Georgia. Pretty high score here. We had Georgia with 41 points against Mississippi State.
10-point game.
10-point game. This was the Bulldog battle because Mississippi State's team is the Bulldogs, and so is Georgia.
Wow. Bulldogs face the Bulldogs. The older Bulldogs.
Yep. And then we had Alabama. I want to talk about this game, actually. We had Alabama ranked 7th against the South Carolina Gamecocks and only won by 2. The thing with this game, yeah, you won by 2 only. You might think, oh, Alabama just had it at the end, whatever. What
They
actually happened was,
they intercepted the ball. The end. Because the South
yeah,
Carolina had it. I was watching the end of the game.
yeah, but the point is how they got there. So if I look at the exact scoring sheet of when everyone scored, Alabama at 1 point had a 14-0 lead. Then it became 7-14. And then a safety, so 9-14. And then a field goal, so it's 12-14 at the half. And then to start the third, you lose that lead with South Carolina scoring a touchdown. Now it's 19-14. Gain it back with a touchdown of your own. Failed a 2-point conversion, 19-20. And then you scored another one, 19-17. This is with 2 minutes left in the game. With a 8-point game, 2 minutes, there's only 2 things that can happen. They tie it up with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, or they lose the game because they don't, and you waste clock. But they got a touchdown, but missed a 2-point conversion. So they went onside kick. And with a chance to seal the game by just securing the ball, you guys gave them the onside kick, and they nearly scored a field goal to win the game.
Yep. They,
Oh, I don't know about you guys, Alabama. You're questionable. You lose to Vandy, and then you nearly lose to South Carolina.
yeah.
Yeah.
SEC teams. There's no SEC teams. Two more SEC teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Florida Gators losing 17-23 against 8th ranked Tennessee. And that's going to do it for this page. We move on to our next page with more games, starting with Ole Miss
Woohoo! A
and
no-co.
LSU.
Jeez, a no-co's game.
3-point game here, 26-29. LSU defeats Ole Miss, a 4-rank difference between the two heading into this game, 9-13, and a 3-point difference when it comes to the game's final score.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Then we had Clemson, another Tiger team like LSU, ranked 10th. Honestly, they just destroyed Wake Forest, 49-14.
No.
And then we had Iowa State taking on the Mountaineers of West Virginia, where they won by 12, 28-16.
Another big high score game.
Yep. BYU handled business against the Arizona Wildcats, winning 41-19.
Yep, they're both Big 12 teams. I know two Big 12 teams too.
And this was an upset, though. Unranked beat ranked. Utah headed over to Arizona State, but couldn't defeat the Sun Devils. They lost 27-19.
Yep, the Big 12 team has 16 teams now.
And to finish off our second page, we had Boise State ranked 17th, defeating Hawaii 28-7. This game was very late. I wanted to watch this game at first, but it was on very late, and I was very tired on a Saturday, knowing I would have to wake up early if I wanted to catch the London game on Sunday.
Yeah, last time I get up for a London game was the Bengals play in London.
Yeah. We have only 2 more games to mention here, starting with Kansas State Wildcats taking on Colorado. This is our first time, believe it or not, only our first time mentioning the Colorado Buffaloes.
And there are Big 12 teams. Both these teams are.
Mm-hmm. This is our first time mentioning them. Shout out Colorado. Shout out Coach Prime. Shout out Travis Hunter, currently on Heisman watch. So yeah, but lost obviously by 3, 31-28. And our final game we have on here, it was Cal taking on Pitt in a low scoring game, 15-17, average score of 16, meaning a total of 32. Pitt barely handles business against Cal. Cal's been in back-to-back close games against ranked teams. We mentioned this yesterday, but they went against Miami last week, lost a close one. And now here in Pitt, lost only by 2. Now we get into our other notes here that we have from week 7. Starting with our highest total we had in overtime. Total of 99 points were scored in this affair, with Purdue scoring 49 of those and Illinois scoring
By
50 of
one
those.
point game. Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then we had a tie here for our biggest differential. We had Stanford Cardinal at Notre Dame, and the Fighting Irish winning that game 49-7 for a difference of 42. And then we had 21 ranked Missouri going over to UMass, winning 45-3. Again, a difference of 42. Our highest total and without the overtime was an 89-point game. So 10 less points than overtime. This was between Air Force and New Mexico. And then we get to our teams, starting with my San Jose State Spartans. We couldn't beat the Rams of Colorado State. We lost by 1 touchdown, 24-31.
my team, this is named Bearcats. I almost said Bengals. Bearcats won 19-13 down set uh, Universe of Central Florida, and this game was in Florida, in Atlanta, Florida. Atlanta, Florida didn't get hit that hard. Good thing, because this game was in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, the top 25 NCAA F means football.
Mm-hmm.
Here we
These are
go.
buys that happened this week.
Oh, bye. I forgot to say bye. Sorry.
Yeah. We had 5 teams take a bye this week that were ranked from last week's. They are 6th ranked Miami, 15th
Hoosiers.
ranked Texas A&M, 18th ranked Indiana,
The Hoosiers.
24th ranked Michigan,
Wolverines.
and 25th ranked SMU.
Mustangs.
We're almost done with football here. This is our top 25 from week 8.
Rapid fire. These.
Yeah, rapid fire. Texas stays at 1. Oregon moves up to 2. Penn State moves up to 3. Ohio moves down to 4. Georgia stays at 5. Miami stays at 6. Alabama surprisingly stays at 7. LSU moves up to 8. Iowa State moves up to 9. Clemson stays at 10. Tennessee moves down to 11. Notre Dame to 12. That is them moving up. Excuse me, down. BYU to 13. Moves up 1. Texas A&M moves up 1 to 14. Boise State moves up to 15. Indiana moves up to 16. Kansas State moves up to 17. Ole Miss down to 18. Missouri down moves up to 19. Pitt moves up to 20. SMU to 21. Illinois moves up 1 to 22. And then we have our first new team. It's Army. The Black Knights moved to 23 after beating the Blazers of UAB 10 to 44. They are now undefeated.
That's kind of weird. Army and Navy rank. I never seen them rank before.
Yeah. I'll give you a fun fact in a second. Michigan
Okay.
stays at 24, and Navy, as you just mentioned, moves to 25. They had a bye this week, actually, but last week they defeated Air Force 34 to 7. They're also undefeated. And the thing about these two teams being ranked now, this is the first time since 1960 that Army and Navy were ranked at the same time.
Holy crap! That has been a long time.
It's been 64 years to be exact.
Yeah, we were not born yet.
I hope not. Jesus. I'll be old as hell. But yeah, with 2 new teams, that means 2 teams were out this week.
Utah and
which we
Oklahoma.
mentioned. We mentioned both of these guys. Utah lost to Arizona State, and Oklahoma lost to Texas.
Yep. Moving on to the NCAA basketball men's and women's top 25. They are starting soon. Next month.
Yeah, to be specific, November 4th.
Yep, November 4th.
Will be the official first day.
I'm ready.
But yeah, me too. Let's skim through these top 25s. I will just read off the teams and their nicknames. Starting with number 1 in the men's, Kansas, and the Jayhawks at number 1. Then the Alabama Crimson Tide, then Yukon Huskies, Houston Cougars, Iowa State Cyclones, Gonzaga Bulldogs, Duke Blue Devils, Baylor Bears, North Carolina Tar Heels or UNC, Arizona Wildcats, Auburn Tigers, Tennessee Volunteers, Texas A&M Aggies, Purdue Boilermakers, Creighton Blue Jays, Arkansas Razorbacks, Indiana Hoosiers, Marquette Golden Eagles, Texas Longhorns, Cincinnati Bearcats. Woo! Good job. You guys are in the top 25.
It's been a long time
Florida.
It's been a long time our team's been in the ranks for football and basketball. been a long
Yeah.
time. I'm
So
glad
welcome
we're.
back to the top 25.
I'm glad we're 20.
Yep. And then round off these last five: Florida Gators, UCLA Bruins, Kentucky Wildcats, Ole Miss Rebels, and Rutgers Scarlet Knights. That's your men's preseason AP top 25. As for the women's side, this has fluctuated since obviously a few of them have gone to the league of the WNBA. So you're not going to see Iowa up here. But yeah, let's get through this. South Carolina stays at number one after winning March Madness and the whole
Wow,
tournament.
that's different than the men's.
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, the winner from the men's is not number one,
Yeah, I know.
which was UConn. But yeah, in women's, it's South Carolina who won. Then it's UConn. Then it's USC Trojans. All right. Texas Longhorns, UCLA Bruins, Notre Dame Fighting Irish, LSU Tigers, Iowa State Cyclones, NC State Wolfpack, Oklahoma Sooners, Duke Blue Devils, Baylor Bears, Kansas State Wildcats, Ohio State Buckeyes, UNC, West Virginia Mountaineers, Louisville Cardinals, Maryland Terrapins, Florida State Seminoles, Ole Miss Rebels, Creighton Blue Jays, Kentucky Wildcats, Nebraska Cornhuskers, Alabama Crimson Tide, and Indiana Hoosiers.
I just know the women's 22 ranked Kentucky and the men's 23 ranked Kentucky.
Pretty close.
And different teams too.
Mm-hmm.
Most the same,
Yep,
mostly.
Creighton's in both.
Yeah, Duke,
Indiana's in both. Duke, Texas,
Kansas.
uh,
No. Kansas is not in both. Yeah, Kansas and State, Kansas. Yeah,
UConn, um,
they. Yeah,
UCLA.
Ole Miss is in both.
Yep.
Kentucky's in both.
LSU is in women's, but I don't see it in men's unless I'm blind.
No, it's not in men's.
I'm blind. Yeah, it's not there.
No.
Who else?
Alabama.
Baylor.
I already say Baylor. Ole
Oh yeah.
Miss and Kentucky and Alabama. Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, I'm ready for college basketball. I don't know about you, Tony. You know anything about college basketball?
Started getting into it last March Madness.
Guys, we will do March Madness brackets.
That is something we will do.
I do it every year.
I'm about to do my first one this year.
Moving
But
on.
yeah. Moving on. I'm not gonna talk too much on the NHL season. There's a lot I would have to do. Near the end of the season or around halfway, I will mention records to be like who's doing what, who's doing good, who's doing bad. But starting,
And then you will do the playoff. And then when they have the playoffs and everything.
yeah. But on Tuesday, October 22nd, same day as the NBA season's opener,
Jeez.
we have the NHL Frozen Frenzy. For those who don't know, this is basically the day that every team plays. All 32 teams will be playing, so that's 16 games in just one night.
There's Cleveland Blue Jackets, right?
Columbus.
Columbus Blue Jackets. Oh my gosh, I am sorry.
Yeah. So if
I
we look
don't
at
watch hockey too much. The only hockey team we have is the Cyclones, Cincinnati Cyclones, and we're not in the
mm,
NHL league at all. So
mm-hmm,
yeah,
gotcha.
we're
Yeah, but
not.
for me, I will be watching
I can
the
tell we're
San
not
Jose
up there.
Sharks.
Because I can
Yeah,
tell our Wecos it's not up there. I can tell.
yeah. I'll be watching the San Jose Sharks against the Florida Panthers for sure. But yeah.
Moving on. The MLB playoffs.
Yep. We have our American League Championship Series and National League Championship Series ready for you guys. It's already started. But how did these teams get here? Well, Cleveland had to defeat the Tigers. Took them 5 games to do that in the best of 5, and the Yankees took 4 games against the Royals. So here is your ALCS, where the Yankees currently have a 2-0 lead over the Guardians after winning 5-2 and 6-3.
And now we are going to the NLCS.
Mm-hmm. Where it will be the Mets and the Dodgers. These two teams also had a good journey. The Mets did this in 4 games, took 4 games to beat the Phillies, and the Dodgers took 5 games against the Padres to move on to the
There
NLCS.
was a year the Dodgers had like a really long drought a couple of years ago. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Um,
my team, the Reds, has a drought right now. We have not been in the playoffs for a long time. Yeah, it's
mm,
been a while. Wow.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. There you
I
go.
just had the
And
fact about the Dodgers.
mm. But yeah, so far in this series, it's actually tied at 1-1. The Dodgers won the first game 9-0, but then the Mets answered back with a 7-3 win. So, yeah.
Moving on.
It's the WNBA playoffs. Since last time we checked in, we had our finals set of Minnesota versus New York, where it's currently tied here at 1-1. New York lost the first game in overtime, 95-93, but answered back with a win of 80-66. The next game is actually tomorrow as of the time of recording. So as the time it's out, the next game will be in Minnesota that day.
Moving on.
It's our
Oh,
NFL predictions, current standings. Before we start this, actually, I would like to mention some of you will notice there is no Premier League talk. There was none this week because there was World Cup qualifiers. I don't plan to talk about World Cup qualifiers until it really is going to matter in the coming years. Potentially next year, we'll talk more about them. Definitely 2026. But yeah, so no Premier League this week. But here's your NFL predictions, current standings.
oh,
I had an amazing week.
he
I
lost
went
it.
13-1.
What's your loss, Dance?
My one loss was Washington versus Baltimore. I went with Washington, and honestly, looking back at it, I was thinking of
I
picking
went.
Baltimore that whole time.
I went to Washington. I think too.
Yeah,
I think I did too.
but
No one.
what helped me get a better record than you was you had in the late window on Sunday, you had like one away team, then the home team, then away, then a home, then a away, and I just went with all the away teams, and all of them won in the late window.
Yeah. You know what?
So that was nice.
It's can't be like this all the time.
Yeah,
Now our
but
standings. Now
yeah, our
our
total
total.
standings. Thankfully, I have taken the lead due
Die.
to this amazing performance.
Only by one.
Only by one, but it feels good to be in the lead.
Not for long.
We'll see.
Well, but we
That's
both. Well, but we both. Oh, like you can lose, make it even.
yeah.
We can tie here this week.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll tell you that's our NFL. Oh wait, we have week 7 bye first.
Yeah, we have to see who's taking a break.
Chicago Bears and Dallas Cowboys. 4-2 Bears and 3-3 Cowboys.
So let's go to our picks now, starting with Thursday Night Football. We have the Denver Broncos at 3-3 taking on the Saints, who are 2-4. Saints currently have lost 4 straight after starting 2-0, and the Broncos currently are on a good win streak. After dropping 1 game to the Chargers, though, that win streak ended. They started 0-2, won a game, won 3 games actually, and then lost to the Chargers.
Wow.
But this will be Bo Nix versus more than likely Spencer Rattler. So this will be rookie versus rookie, their first time meeting. This is also Sean Payton's potential revenge game. Former Saints coach, now the Broncos head coach. And if we look in the history of these two, the Broncos are 9-3 against the Saints
Wow.
all time. But I'm gonna start doing this now for you guys. I will be giving Thursday night's injury report on the show, and
I thought you don't do separate.
I was gonna do separate, but if I do it here, it's just better because then I don't have to worry about recording the very next day.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because every other game, their injury reports don't come out until like Friday. So that's when I'll do the injury reports. I'll probably record Saturday, upload Saturday, or I'll record Friday and upload Saturday
Yeah.
for those reports. But Thursday Night Football will be on here now. Last week, I just was so out of it that day when I had to record. I was just like, do I have to do this? But I did it. I was just so tired.
You're just
But yeah,
doing
let's look.
that
Yeah,
night.
yeah. But let's look at who's out, who's doubtful, who's questionable. But yeah,
And this is coming out before Thursday, so
yep. That's why I decided here, so I don't have to rush another video before Thursday.
yeah.
Yeah. But starting off in Denver side, we had Pat Surtain. He suffered a concussion. He's more than likely out due to the fact that he needs to pass the protocol. But don't be surprised if you see him because he is still doubtful and not confirmed out. Alex, I don't know how to say your last name and I don't want to butcher it. I'm sorry, sir. Uh,
I
I'll
don't
do
know
it.
that either. So
Palszewski.
I,
I'm
I don't
I
know what
have
it
no
is.
idea.
Me either.
My apologies. He has an ankle injury. He is questionable for this game. Josh Reynolds has a fractured finger, and he is doubtful according to head coach Sean Payton. And then we have Baron Browning suffered a foot injury a few weeks ago. He is questionable for this game. He was in practice. Same goes for Mike McGlinchey and his knee. He was out a few weeks ago, but recently has been slowly coming back, so he can potentially play this week. As for the Saints, Chris Olave has a concussion, and just like Pat Surtain, he's doubtful for this game. Tyrann Mathieu is questionable with a forearm injury. Derek Carr has an oblique injury. He's more than likely not playing this game, which is why I have Spencer Rattler in my notes to be playing this game. Taysom Hill, some good news for the Saints. He is questionable and not doubtful. So his ribs are feeling better. So he has a potential of playing this game. Rashid Shaheed has a knee injury. He's questionable. And so is Alontae Taylor, who has a shoulder injury. All key players for the Saints. Few more than likely out, and a few more questionable.
Wow. Moving on. You're winning game.
Yep. We have listen to this, Jay Lakers. We have the 1-5 New England Patriots taking on the 1-5 Jacksonville Jaguars.
Holy crap. Wow, both 1-5. Someone's gonna win their
I
second
would
game.
I wouldn't be surprised if their records were both 1-5-1 at the end of this game
Oh my god.
because I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. It's Drake May versus Trevor Lawrence. Drake May, obviously the rookie. This is going to be their first time meeting. But Patriots all time against the Jags are 8-1.
We'll
So
see what
Patriots do
happens.
perform better
We'll see what
most of the time.
happens. They're both 1-5.
Yep. Moving on, we have your game here at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yep, Battle of Ohio, guys. Battle of Ohio. The Bengals and the Browns. Battle of Ohio.
Yep. Bengals here are 2-4. Browns are 1-5. Both records aren't good, to say the least.
Ours is better than the
But
Browns.
yeah, that's where I was getting at. But you guys are better by 1 game against the Browns. This is Joe Burrow versus Deshaun Watson because they want Deshaun to keep playing, I guess. Will be their 3rd meeting all time between the two.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals, for a little bit of history, are 53-49 against the Browns all time, so they have the better record by 4 games. But if we look at the recent record, the Browns are 5-1 against Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I know the record is against them because I've been looking at all like the Browns, the Bengals, Ravens, the Bengals, Steelers, and the Bengals, Browns.
Yeah.
Moving on, but 2 teams.
We have a Super Bowl rematch of last year's. The 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs will be taking on the 3-3 San Francisco 49ers. This is Patrick Mahomes versus Brock Purdy, which is their 3rd meeting all time, if you include playoffs, obviously, the Super
And
Bowl.
so, yeah.
If we look at all time here, including playoffs, the Chiefs are 9-7 against the 49ers. But this is also 2-0 in the Super Bowl. So if we exclude the playoffs, it's actually even at 7-7.
Wow.
2 of those wins for the Chiefs though were against Purdy, and they are 2-0 against him. But we'll see.
Yeah. He's saying Niners has a chance to win.
Yeah.
You have your Sunday Night Football.
You have the 2-4 Jets versus the 4-2 Steelers in Pittsburgh. Obviously, we've heard the recent news. Devontae is a New York Jet. Will he play this game? It's been reported he more than likely will be playing this game, despite having that hamstring injury earlier on before he was traded. This is Aaron Rodgers versus Russell Wilson, believe it or not. Justin Fields. It's been reported that Russell Wilson has been getting the first stringer reps as if he were a QB1. So with that information, he may be playing quarterback this week.
Interesting.
But if not, it will be Justin Fields again. But be on the lookout. If it's Russell Wilson, this is him and Aaron Rodgers' 7th time meeting.
I'll be watching this game. Me and my girlfriend probably watch this game because she's a Steelers fan. She always wants to be different than her family because half her family's Steelers and half her family's Bengals.
Mm. Damn, that's hard to choose.
I used to be a Steelers fan years ago.
Mm. But yeah, 7th meeting all time for these two. But if it is Justin Fields, it will be him and Aaron Rodgers' 5th time meeting. They used to be going head to head when they were in Chicago and Green Bay for a couple years. So yeah. And for your history lesson on this game, Steelers have the better record against the Jets, having won 18 and only losing 7
Wow.
against the Jets.
Moving on, your doubleheader on Monday night.
It's your Monday Night Football. This is your first one. This will be happening in Tampa Bay, where the Ravens will be going over to the Buccaneers. Both teams are 4-2, and both teams are looking to lead their division potentially. Obviously, depending on tiebreakers and all that. This game will be at 8:15 Eastern, and the next game we'll mention will be at 9 p.m. Eastern. But let's talk about this game first before we talk about that one. This is Lamar Jackson versus Baker Mayfield. This is our 10th all-time meeting. The two obviously have used to gone head-to-head when Baker was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And one of those meetings, actually, between Lamar and Baker was when Baker was actually in Carolina. So yeah, 8 meetings when Baker was a Brown and 1 meeting when Baker was in Carolina. This will be their 10th when Baker Mayfield's in Tampa Bay. Quick history on this matchup. The Ravens are 5-2 against the Buccaneers, so they do have their number, but we'll see.
Yep, we'll see. And here's second Monday Night Football.
And your 9 p.m. Monday Night Football, you have the LA Chargers going over to Arizona and taking on the Cardinals. This one will be on Fox for those wondering how to watch it. So be on the lookout there for your
What?
local listings if you can watch it there.
Fox? You mean ESPN Plus? It's on ESPN Plus.
It says Fox as well,
Oh, okay. I didn't know
but
that.
in some areas only. So like LA and Arizona probably can watch it, but
Yeah.
other Foxes will be like the news. But yeah, Justin Herbert versus Kyler Murray. This is their second meeting all time. Chargers are 3-2, while the Cardinals are 2-4. Both really needing a win to get back into the division. So we'll see how this goes. History lesson for this one: Chargers are 11-4 against the Cardinals, so they have the better record.
That means I won't get the game. I might have ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Our week 7 picks. We have some same and some different. This time I pick mostly all on the left side.
Mm.
Almost even on the left side and the right side. My first game we both have same. I have the Broncos, Denver. I have Jacksonville, Seahawks, Bills, Cincinnati, Houston, Miami, Detroit, and Philadelphia. I got Rams, Washington, Niners, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, and Arizona. Guys, I know why you see the New England in Jacksonville say 9:30 p.m. The website we got it from they messed up. They didn't put a.m.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's funny. Yeah, it will be at 9:30 a.m. Eastern
Yeah.
for those wanting to check that game out. But yeah, I have mostly similar picks. I was counting them a bit. I actually have 3 different picks compared to you. Obviously, both have Denver, both have Jacksonville and Seattle. Both have Buffalo and Cincinnati and Houston. I actually have Indianapolis over Miami. Still, I'm not trusting Miami without Tua,
Mm.
but obviously we'll see. I have Detroit and Philly alongside you. I have Vegas actually winning against the Rams. Rams, just like Miami, are kind of beat up, so they're still without their top receivers. We'll see how that goes, though. You never know. And to finish it off, we have Washington, San Fran, and Pittsburgh. Same. We both have Tampa Bay first Monday night, but for the second one, I actually have the Chargers instead of the Cardinals.
Moving on.
Thanks for watching, everyone. It's been a eventful episode 7 after having some technical difficulties. But
Guys, if you
we
want to
always
see the blank ding, I will put in the bloopers. Definitely,
you
I
will
will.
put in the bloopers. But
Bloopers
yeah,
will be coming soon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, good episode 7. We always push to get these out.
Hour
It
and
is
18
currently
minutes. Wow, we
yeah,
did it. Hour.
it is currently 11:50 my time, meaning it over there with Jay Lakers. It's almost 3 in the morning,
It's
so
almost 12 for him.
it's almost midnight for me, almost 3 for him. We obviously
Yep.
try to record these every Tuesday night, because we want to get these videos out to you guys at Wednesdays, and we can't record Wednesday morning because we have lives outside of this, and I usually have things to do Wednesday mornings.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thanks for watching, y'all. Jay Lakers, sorry, Editor Tony, hit him with the music, and Jay Lakers, hit him with the outro.
They do. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and put a notification bell on this channel, and follow us on X and Instagram. Join our Discord, it will be in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to my 3 channels, and Tony's 3 channels will be in the description. Everything else will be in the description. Follow us on social media, our social media in description. If it's not there, we'll probably put it there. I'll see you guys all next time. See ya.